Welcome to Chapter 11 of The Sovereign Game. Burn the Map by MJ Taylor. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Chapter 11, Burn the Map. Abandon their blueprint and force the world to follow yours. Interpretation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is set fire to the script. Burn the Map isn't just a call to rebel. It's a declaration of sovereignty over systems that were never built for you to win. Maps are useful until they aren't. They show borders, roads, approved routes. But what happens when the path you're told to take leads to a dead end? Or worse, into a trap? The truth is, most people follow someone else's map, a plan inherited from parents, a script handed down by institutions, a framework sold by strangers online. But what if that map was designed to keep you ordinary? What if every turn it told you to make was just another way to shrink you, distract you, or delay your rise? This chapter is for the ones who've been told to wait their turn, who followed the rules, climbed the ladder, kept their heads down, and still ended up nowhere near the life they wanted. It's for the ones who feel the cage even when the door is technically open. To burn the map is not to be reckless, it is to wake up, to realize that the GPS is rigged, that playing it safe is sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do. It's about choosing chaos over captivity. It's about embracing discomfort, uncertainty, and messiness, for the sake of building a life that's truly yours. To burn the map is not to be lost. It is to choose your own terrain, to move like no one expects, to stop seeking permission and start becoming the pathmaker. From here on, you are no longer a traveler. You are the terrain. Historical example. The Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804. The Haitian Revolution was more than a slave uprising. It was a detonation of an empire's delusion. Born into a brutal colonial system, enslaved Haitians were given a simple map: obey, labor, die. France had drawn that map for them, one soaked in sugar cane and blood, written in chains, enforced with whips. But in 1791, they struck the match. It began with secret meetings, voodoo ceremonies, and whispers in the night. Toussaint Louverture, a former slave with military brilliance and a mind like a scalpel, emerged from the plantations not as a victim, but as a strategist. He didn't just lead men, he rewrote their fate. He studied Enlightenment philosophy, outmaneuvered European generals, and forged alliances with Spain and Britain when it served him. Then he turned against them when it didn't. He was a master of the pivot, of burning the map and building a new one. The revolution wasn't linear. It was chaos, betrayal, fire, and fury. The French sent massive reinforcements. Napoleon himself dispatched an army to crush the rebellion. But the Haitians, outgunned, undersupplied, and underestimated, fought with something more potent than muskets: an unshakable refusal to go back to the map of slavery. They fought for a world that didn't yet exist. They didn't just defeat France, they declared themselves the first Black Republic, dismantling the blueprint of white supremacy in the colonial world. It wasn't just a revolution, it was a refusal to stay in the world as drawn. They didn't just defeat France, they declared themselves the first Black Republic, dismantling the blueprint of white supremacy in the colonial world. It wasn't just a revolution, it was a refusal to stay in the world as drawn. In overthrowing me, you have cut down in Saint-Domingue only the trunk of the tree of liberty. It will spring up again by the roots, for they are numerous and deep. Toussaint Louverture. Modern example, the rise of independent music. For decades, the music industry told artists the rules: get discovered, sign a deal, hand over your masters, and maybe, if you're lucky, become a star. The map was clear, so were the chains. But then came the rebellion. With platforms like SoundCloud, YouTube, and TikTok, independent musicians began bypassing gatekeepers. They released music directly to audiences, built followings from bedrooms, created income without begging for contracts. Artists like Chance the Rapper, who won Grammys without a label, or Billie Eilish, who exploded from her brother's laptop, didn't just make songs, they made new paths. They burned the industry's map, and in doing so, they made the map irrelevant. I never signed a deal, and I still made history. Chance the Rapper. Folktale, The Weaver's Threads, West Africa, 1700s. There was once a boy in a West African village known for its weavers. Each family passed down a loom and a pattern, the same threads, the same shapes, the same cloth. Tradition, they called it. But the boy dreamed of different colors, of chaotic spirals and jagged lines. His elders scolded him. The map is sacred, so he waited. Then one night, He gathered his threads and went into the forest. He weaved beneath the moon, using shadows and wind as guides. His cloth was strange, beautiful, untamed. When he returned, the villagers laughed, until a traveling merchant saw the fabric and paid 10 times the usual price. Soon his design spread, and the boy who defied the loom became the new map others followed. Tactical placement. Burning the map is not about recklessness, it's about precision. You don't destroy structure for drama, you do it when the structure cages your potential. This is the tactic for when the system doesn't just overlook you, it erases you. Use it when you're being boxed into a role that doesn't fit. When every door you knock on leads to the same stale room, when you've tried playing by the rules and the game still chews you up. Burn the map in places where you're made to feel too much, too loud, too different, too ambitious. Burn it when they say, this is how it's always been done, and your gut screams back, then it's time to change it. Sometimes the only way to win is to refuse to play. Quit the degree halfway. Walk out mid-meeting. Drop the safe plan, the silent suffering, the steady descent into mediocrity. Build something in silence while everyone's watching the wrong metrics. Let others keep chasing the map, while you redraw the landscape in your name, in your language, with your hands. Apply this in leadership. Lead by building new structures, not fixing broken ones. People follow those who show them a new way forward. Relationships. Walk away from patterns inherited, not chosen. If the roles keep repeating, change the entire stage. Personal growth. Abandon the blueprint if it's not built for your future. You can't innovate while obeying old maps. Creativity. When the rules feel suffocating, set fire to them. Genius often begins in the ashes. Reversal. Of course, not all maps are traps. Some provide safety, legacy, guidance. Burning the wrong one can leave you wandering. Recklessness disguised as rebellion is still just chaos. If you don't know what you're building, destruction becomes addiction. Sometimes the better move is to amend the map. Add a trail. Build a bridge. You don't always have to burn it. You just have to stop mistaking it for destiny. Power principles. Maps are made by the powerful, not the right. Burning the map creates space for reinvention. When no road fits you, build your own. Innovation often begins where obedience ends. The refusal to play is itself a power move. Closing thoughts. Every system comes with a story. Every path they offer is embedded with silent contracts. Obey, shrink, wait your turn. That map they hand you, it's not just a guide, it's a leash. And here's the hard truth. They don't expect you to question it, they expect you to follow it. They rely on your politeness, your fear of disappointing others, your reluctance to walk into the unknown. But ask yourself, how much longer will you live someone else's life just to keep the peace? You can burn the map and still walk with purpose. You can lose your footing and still find your way. The ones who change the world, who build movements, who reshape empires, they weren't following directions. They were building destinations. So let the fire rise. Let it consume what no longer fits. Let it light the way for something feral and free to take root. Burn the map, then walk forward and make the smoke your signature.